Goodness. Here we go. What's up, you guys? How you doing? Sorry, I had to push it back a little bit. Always scrambling. You know how it goes. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Happy Tuesday. What's up, Heidi? Is it a Sousa show? It should say Sousa show. You're not the only one that's said that I should put the name, like that it's a different show in the title. I know a lot of you guys have caught on because of the way that I title the shows. There's like three things. But yeah. Somebody left a comment like a couple weeks back and they were like, what they say. Like, can you please label these so we know that they're Sousa shows so I don't download it off of Spotify? It was like I'm here for Sevon, not this loser. And I was like, geez, was the loser part necessary? Like, I get it if you're here just to watch Sevon, but like, man, you gotta insult me on the way out the door. Corey, what's up, my guy? Either way, thumbs up. Appreciate you. Omar, how you doing? It's funny because I know it's a little emoji that like Will made of me, but on my end it just says like Sousa, 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 like the script of it. It's kind of funny. Sousa Day. What's up, guys? Did you guys see the Paige Powers interview from this morning? Haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, but I'm excited to. I like her a lot. Riley, sorry to keep you waiting. What? Oh, look at that photo. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny. Judy Reed. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Corey, Omar, and Riley, and Judy. Hi. Hi. It was a great interview. Was it, Judy? It was good. No doubt it was good. Ernie, what's up, man? Welcome back to the United States. Hope your time in Switzerland was cool. Just following along on your stories there. Jonathan Ortega. Sousa is running on colored people time. It's okay. Yeah, look at me. Got a little sun too. It's not the lighting. I got a little sunburn on my face. Seth, what's up, dude? Game on. Yeah, here we go. Eric, we're back. Yep. Yep. All right, everybody. So I had an interesting adventure over the weekend. I'm not going to share many details of it, but I'm going to give you guys the overall scope of like what I thought it was, how it went. It's kind of vague right now, so we'll get into that in more detail. Last week I asked you guys if you wanted to end on a deep note or talk about friends, and you guys said deep, so we'd watch that trippy like you are a different person in everybody's mind around you kind of deal, and the way that they perceive you. So today we're going to do the friend one, the opposite. It's like that. You guys remember back in the day when like you got to choose which workout or version of DT they did at CrossFit and then at the CrossFit games, and then whatever one wasn't chosen was in fact the next year's DT version. It was like double DT or heavy DT. That's the same for you guys. You didn't know it, but by choosing last week, you also chose this week. So we'll do that. We're going to talk a little bit about Ronda Patrick. I'm going to talk a little bit about Rhonda. You guys know who Dr. Ronda Patrick is? Found My Fitness. She's been on Joe Rogan like 10 times. We're going to go over there and take a peek at her Instagram and see what she's got going on. We're also going to talk a little bit about, and I should have had the live call-in on this because I wanted in the title, it says like, does your affiliate even do CrossFit? Or something like that. Do affiliates actually do CrossFit? There it is. I wrote the title. I should probably get it right. But we're going to have a little, I want to have a little open discussion. I was like thinking about this on the plane ride back home. And I was like, holy shit. Like we might be missing the envelope here in terms of like the methodology. And we always talk about the methodology, following the CrossFit methodology. But like, are we following the CrossFit methodology as like affiliate owners and coaches? Are we? We'll talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to check out the comment section of a couple of different things because I enjoy kind of reading other people's comments and going back. We'll start with something happening over in Canada. Okay, but with no further ado, this is a older clip from Muhammad Ali, and I thought it was cool. Matt Burns, he's talking about affiliates doing CrossFit and following the methodology. Most do, some don't. Yeah, we're going to crack that nut. We're going to look at it. And I'm curious to get your guys' opinions on, like, do we follow CrossFit? Can we do it? Can we do it? Are we doing it properly? Or do we have the pyramid upside down? Corey, also being this week's and next week's sponsor of the Kill Taylor show, which is quickly one of my favorite things to watch. If you guys haven't watched that already, I don't know what the hell you're doing. That show is hilarious. And yes, we're going to cut them off once we realize they have no chance at beating Taylor. We'll end it. Is my internet okay for you guys? It's showing like one bar on this screen. and full on this screen. I don't know if it's choppy, freezing, or what. Hopefully it doesn't get too screwed up when I show this clip. It's so weird, like how sometimes it gives me shitty internet and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. The Tom Brady roast was pretty funny though. There's some really good ones in there. There's some really good ones. Okay, good on my end. Okay, all right, cool, good. Glad it's not too bad. Okay, this is Muhammad Ali. And talk a little bit about friends. Here we go.
Friend is one who will not even consider giving his life for you. That's a friend. Everybody you name are with me for money and for what they can get. I don't have no friends. I wrote a poem that says, friendship is a priceless gift that cannot be bought nor sold, but its value is far greater than a mountain made of gold. For gold is cold and lifeless. It can neither see nor hear, and in time of trouble it is powerless to cheer. Gold, it has no ears to listen, no heart to understand. It cannot not bring you comfort or reach out a helping hand. So when you ask God for a gift, be thankful if he sends, not diamonds, pearls, or riches, but the love of real, true friends. See, friends are very rare. A friend is one who will not even consider giving.
I thought that was cool. I watched it, it just popped up in my algorithm and I was like listening to it. I watched it like a couple times and I was like taking it in a little bit. I was like, holy shit. Like, man, is that true, huh? And the thing, I think sometimes we think about friends are like being a friend, and this is going to tie into what I did over the weekend and where I was. But I think about like what is truly a friend, right? Because sometimes people, how do I word this? If, are you a friend if you allow somebody to not live up to their potential? And I don't mean like being like a jerk about it, right? But sometimes we get caught in our heads and like, oh, this sucks, or this, or this, or this, or that. And you have other people who will just kind of coddle like, yeah, you're right. Or like you come in and you kind of complain about maybe your like partner or something, and they're like, yeah, screw them anyways. Like you don't need them. You're better than them. Or maybe it's just a workout. Maybe it's something as simple as like, hey, you skipped a couple of things, a couple of your workouts, and like it's fine, don't worry about it. And you're kind of like coddling them because we all want to be nice. It's kind of like the analogy of like, your partner comes out and like some a dress or whatever. Like, do I look good in this? And you're like, yeah, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But of course, you're just gonna say yeah, right? There's like the fine line between how are you gonna be supportive, like how are you gonna like be helpful, but at the same time, like, are you truly doing what's best for that person? And sometimes what's best for that person is like an honest talk and a truth, assuming you've built up the relationship and the trust with them. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes people don't realize that you're like being a friend or like helping them out in that moment. Sometimes they think like you're the enemy, or you're not understanding them, or you're being too hard on them or something, especially for us with this relationship as coaches, for those of you guys that are like coaches out there, right? Like people will show up and kind of be like, oh, like this movement hurts, or I suck at this movement, I'm just going to do this. And that they need to be challenged a little bit. So rather than just like backing off of it and just being like, yeah, cool, just do whatever, you kind of like push them a little bit, and there's going to be some friction there. And so I was just thinking, like, if you have a good friend, there's always like a push and pull there. They're like supportive, but at the same time, they tell you the stuff that you don't want to hear, but maybe you need to hear, right? But they find like a nuance to it, to do it in a way that makes you feel like, okay, you're not beating up on me. You're truly trying to give me a perspective or tell me what's best for me, or even make me stay committed to a goal that I set, which is super important as a friend, at least to me, because sometimes we set these goals and we'll talk about them with our friends, but then we don't hold ourselves accountable to them. And then as a friend, like, do you hold that person accountable? Do you not, like, and do you find the nuance there, right? Oh shit, of course I don't have the link that I'm going to use to tie this into like brought up. And I was with Tosh, Brian Kanosh. He's been on the show twice. He rode across the Atlantic Ocean. Here we go. Bring this up. Do you guys remember he's been on the show 2 times. He was one of our first people that literally was on the show, and then there's like this big outcry to like have him back on. I think like 2 weeks later we had him back on. There's been very few of any other guests that's been true with. And he does something called a diesel day. And it's a diesel day is a journey on finding yourself. We'll sum it up just like that. I'm going to give 0 details to this. I really want you guys to go and kind of follow some of his stuff with the Crooked Butterfly and what he has going on with the Hard Way Project and the Diesel Day. But I experienced that over the weekend with a handful of L1 seminar staff. They went over to Tosh's place where he conducts the diesel day, and they went through it. And it is
Hard men do hard.
it is grueling, right? And it was cool because I got to be around Tosh for the weekend, and I got to watch him conduct this with this group and lead them through it, along with two other amazing instructors, Brista and Todd. And it was crazy to just be a witness to it, to watch these 12 L1 seminar staff members go through this experience that is the diesel day. And I was there for a lot of their highs, there for a lot of their lows. I didn't stay up like the full time with them because it is like a really big, like, 24-hour plus block. I took a little bit of a cat nap in between when I was filming it. And I just have an immense amount of respect for all the people that went through it this weekend, and the instructors and Tosh and Nicole Carroll, who was running a ton of support on the back. All the instructors, including Nicole, all stayed up with him the whole entire time with the L1 staff members that are going through it. And I bring up the friend thing because it was this interesting like push and pull. And like a lot of the times the instructors were crazy supportive. They were like watching these people like a hawk, monitoring their food intakes, monitoring any like blisters or small injuries that might be occurring. Not even injuries, like, little owies, little things that happen, blisters in the hands, blisters in the feet. And at the same time, they were pushing them and holding the people accountable to the goals that they set for themselves. And it was incredible to watch their journey and to be a witness to it. And it got me thinking of like, how could we be better as like coaches and friends, right? Because a lot of the times, number one, do you even know your members' goals that you're in front of each day? Like, have you spent some time really like asking them like, hey, like, why are you here? And here's the deal. Most of them are going to give you this like, oh, I want to look better naked, or like, oh, I want to be fit. But like, take a moment and try to like drill down on it a little bit, assuming you have the relationship with that person. I want to be fit. Like, cool. Like, why? I want to be like healthy. Why? Like, just ask a few more times, right? And maybe even do it to yourself. Like, why do you show up to the gym every single day and go through these like grueling workouts, that is CrossFit, and suffer and put yourself into these situations where it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, and it's going to challenge you. And that there's a likelihood that you might fail. You might fail the time cap. You might fail some of the movements. If you're trying some more higher skill movements, you might fail on the weight and have to reduce the weight a little bit. And then as coaches, like, how could we do a good job of holding them accountable and also being really supportive? Because I think like truly, if you're going to be like a friend to somebody, if you're going to be a coach, if you're going to be an affiliate owner, you have to sometimes do the hard things and remind people of the goals that they set out for themselves and believe in them that they could actually achieve these goals. And that's what I got to be a witness to this weekend. And I'll just play this clip here. This was like from 2 weeks ago. I haven't even watched this clip. I don't even need to watch the clip because I know that if it's up here and Tosh is giving one of his monologues, I know that there's going to be something to take away from it. And this might also give you a little bit of insight as to like what they had going on over the weekend.
Shit. You don't get hard if you're not going to do hard shit. The magnitude of how hard somebody does something is irrelevant from individual to individual. What's hard for me on my ruler is different. I have a different ruler than you in your ruler. It's where you're at on the ruler that makes the most difference, has the greatest value. Just constantly push your zone. It doesn't have to be all the time either. It doesn't have to be fanatical. Just, I've realized, hey, I was due to do something hard. I needed to earn something. I wanted to challenge myself, and then I wanted to see if I could persevere against wanting to quit or change the rules. I wanted to get stronger. You don't get stronger by doing things that are easier. You get stronger by doing things that are harder. And so doing things the hard way every so often is good for you.
And what you guys are watching him do right there is he has a couple of these different, for lack of better words, challenges, doing hard things. And that right there is he'll often go out on his property little ways away. They got massive property over in Colorado. And by hand, he'll take an axe with him and find a decently good sized tree and chop it down and then chop it into small pieces and then by hand carry it all the way home. Or in that case, chop it and flip it and roll it home, however you could get it, each log. And typically this will take somewhere in the neighborhood of like 18 to like 24 hours. And he'll work straight through. Just to find that point, like he talked about there, just to do something hard, just to challenge himself. And I don't know, man, it's crazy. I definitely think like you guys should check this out. It would be nuts if a group of us went and signed up for this. Like just as like the people from the Sevon podcast, the Sevenistas, get like 12 of us and just fucking commit to this and just roll through and just dig in for 24 hours and really challenge ourselves and see what we're capable of, see what the breaking point is, see how you work through that. And one of the things too that lessons that he kept saying, or like a question he kept posing the whole time, Tosh, a question he kept posing the whole time that really made me think about not only in the moment of what they were doing, but just thinking about it in terms of life. And he kept saying, don't move the fucking goalposts. Don't move the goalposts. And what he was talking about was everybody who was there for different reasons. They had their own goals. They set, their own reasons of why they were there, what they wanted to accomplish. And as it got really hard, he literally kept just saying, like, don't move the goalposts, because we have so much, how am I trying to word this? Oftentimes I will set goals for myself. And then if I know I'm going to start to fall short, I'll move it. I'll move the goalpost back a little bit. Or I'll say, fuck, we couldn't do it because of this excuse or this reason or that, right? And like some of mine are tied to like business stuff. I should probably start tying it into like more physical things. But like, let's say you set a goal of like, hey, we're going to make $100 in revenue this month. And then a couple things happen, life gets in the way, you maybe lose some of the enthusiasm to call people back or really push a couple of, memberships in the gym. And you realize, you got 2 weeks left and you're not even close to that $100. And you go, well, that was ambitious. Maybe it should have just been closer to 50 and we didn't quite make it, right? Like, so you're moving goalposts because you weren't able to overcome whatever obstacle it was. You weren't able to really commit to like what it was going to take, or maybe you just didn't even think about what it was going to take to actually accomplish that goal. And so like what happens when you reach that breaking point, when you know you're not going to be able to essentially accomplish it? Like, are you going to make excuses? Are you going to move the goalpost? Or are you just going to have acceptance and reassess why you set that goal in the first place and maybe attack it from a different angle, or take accountability of like, fuck, I could have done 10 other things more that would have helped me move to that $100 more in revenue a month, but I just didn't do them. And taking like a real honest assessment and look at like, why did you not accomplish the goal that you had set yourself out for? And so I thought that was interesting. I just want to tie that in with kind of that clip of like the friend at the beginning, because it was truly incredible to watch Tosh, Todd, and Brista, and Nicole for that matter, work with the level 1 seminar staff and remind them of why they were there and be a friend and hold them accountable to their goals. And when shit got hard, and believe me, it got hard for them, they held them accountable. They didn't really let up in a way that made it comfortable for them. And they didn't push them. They basically asked them as to like, hey, like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why is this important to you? Remember that. Take a breath and keep moving. And we'll transition a little bit into the L1 seminar staff here. Having spent the time with the 12 of them there, some of them I had known from before, met either at a seminar staff or just around through the community. And some of them I had never met before. And one thing that they all had in common is they were truly, truly incredible people that I just have an immense amount of respect for. I had a lot of respect for the L1 staff prior to witnessing this, but especially after watching them go through the diesel day, my respect, especially for that group of 12 individuals there, and the character that they possess has gone up immensely. And I hope, truly, truly hope, I think there's like 240 L1 seminar staff, or like 230, whatever. The exact number is not important, but I hope that CrossFit really does make them superstars. I hope that we find a way to get the L1 back into a place that is the most coveted training in terms of learning how to be physically capable and learning how to train a methodology that you could do for life that will allow you to continue to grow not only physically but mentally as a human being. And I'm nervous about it because that L1 doesn't sell the same way it does. And if I were to think about it in terms of money in, money out, it's hard to justify it as in person, because if I could run these courses, and essentially too, I do believe CrossFit is looking at more as like a barrier to entry to become an affiliate than just the thing in and of itself. And so what I mean by that is like they'll start making adjustments or being like, hey, this course isn't for everybody. We're just basically positioning the L1 now just for affiliate owners or just for people that maybe want to coach inside of an affiliate. And I don't think that's the right case. I think it should be positioned as anybody who truly wants to better their lives and to take their own health into their control and learn a methodology that you can execute in your garage with little to no money. You don't need a fancy gym membership. You don't need fancy gym equipment. You just need the knowledge of the methodology, and you need consistency in your training. And the L1 would definitely provide that starting point. And I don't want that to go away, because out of all the things that CrossFit has to offer, and I mean, we talk about it a lot on this show, it's the transmission of not only the methodology, but the type of human being that is willing to make the commitment to take their own health and their responsibility and then learn the tools necessary so they could potentially turn around and help somebody else with it. And the people that work on the L1 seminar staff, they embody that to the fullest, to the highest degree, just as being responsible humans. We don't even need to get into like, which methodology is better or this or that. I mean, these people decided that they were going to become coaches at the highest level and then turn around and teach other people and give them that starting point to become a coach. And right now I know that they've been contracted, so they're just working on the weekends that they're hired. These people are not full-time employees. I also know that they're no longer flown around to multiple geographic locations, but they stay kind of huddled within their regions, which is not the best in my opinion, because then people tend to get with their group and they're not working that much. So if we're only getting the weekend thing every now and then, how am I going to support myself as like a full-time level 1 staff member? Maybe you don't, right? Maybe you can't. So you have to then go look for another job. And then if you're looking for another job, you can't really commit yourself fully to like being the L1 seminar staff member. And then if you're also staying within your own cohort of people locally, so you could just do the ones locally and you're not really traveling as much so they could save expenses, then what ends up happening is your group gets close. And if your group gets close, we become friends. And just like the conversation that we had, once it's friends, it's hard to give them honest feedback. So then we start to see the integrity of the standard slipping. Because if I'm flying all around and my job is just to make sure that we're all holding each other accountable, when I go over and see so-and-so who I haven't seen in 6 months or a year, and the other person that's coaching that, I'm like, hey guys, we're not at standard here. Like, here's some feedback. Here's what we need to do. Let's make this better. Let's really up the energy in here. Let's make sure we're doing it to the best of our abilities. And when you get to that close group and they're already not working that much because they're just trying to get in on the weekends as they can, I think you start to see that slip. And once we start to see that feedback loop within themselves and holding themselves accountable start to slip, then we know that the whole entire seminar in and of itself, the quality is starting to potentially drop a little bit. The quality is starting to potentially drop. And this isn't my idea. This was a conversation that I had. And I just thought it was a brilliant idea. And this person was saying like, hey, basically, instead of running them as like contractors that are just working on the weekends, what if we took the best of the best and made them full time? And then we had them drop into a certain amount of gyms, right? Like as part of their job. And I don't necessarily mean it like a quality control insurance, like they're going to go report back to the mothership and be like, Jim X did this and sucked and Jim Y did this. But you cannot tell me, especially you coaches and affiliate owners that listen to the show. And I know there's a bunch of you guys that do, and thank you for that. But if you're somebody who is working in a CrossFit gym, as well as I do, and I am not immune to this at all. This is basically me telling you how I would act, is you tighten everything up. Even if you already run a great class, you have a great experience, like you check all the boxes, that if a red shirt comes into your gym to take your class, your class, like that experience is going to like exponentially go up. You're going to be like, fuck yeah. Like I need to check all these boxes. I need to do all of it right. And that would be amazing to have them do that on a regular basis. And like, they don't even need to necessarily have some sort of like agenda. And Ernie Garza, yeah, this like a secret shopper, but a CrossFit coach. Yes, but no. Yes, but no. Because there's nobody that the L1 should be reporting back to. They shouldn't have to. So I worked at a restaurant. I was a bartender at a restaurant a while, and we used to get these secret shoppers. And then the secret shopper would have a list of shit that you were supposed to do. And if you didn't do all of them according to the book and according to whatever corporate said, like you would get in trouble, right? Like one of them was like, they were going to order an appetizer. It had to look this certain way. You had to offer the newest special or the menu on the, or the newest special or the newest appetizer on the menu, right? You had to, if they asked you where the bathroom was, you had to say, oh, get up and let me show you. And like, there's all these little things that they have you do, right? And if you don't do it, then the secret shopper sends the report back to that restaurant afterwards with the name of the server on it, everything else. And then you either get fucking, chastised that you didn't do all the stuff according to corporate, or you get, praised because you checked all the boxes. The problem is that they were looking for the boxes that they're being checked. They weren't looking for the overall experience and the person doing it. And so I don't mean it in a sense of like a secret shopper where they're going to go report back to something. I just mean it in a sense of accountability for all gyms, because we know as coaches and as owners, when that red shirt walks in to take your class, fucking, I'm buttoning it up, keep it tight, right? And even if you're not quite feeling it that day, you're still going to level up. And then you're going to not know exactly when, but you're going to know, oh, fuck, they're going to be coming around again, right? I want to make sure I'm leveling up. I don't want to have that experience of feeling unprepared when the L1 trainer shows up and I, didn't really have my lesson plan. I didn't really have my warm up dialed in. I didn't really know what my points of performance for coaching that day was going to be. And now I'm trying to figure all that out because I just saw him walk in the door and, your heart rate's at 180 and you're like, oh shit. Right. But at the same time, they wouldn't report it back. Basically what it would be at that point would just be a conversation, with the coach. How's everything going over here? What are you experiencing? What are different things in your coaching where you're reaching obstacles that you're feeling like you can't as a coach overcome, or like, what do you, and just have a general conversation, not even anything really guided. And then the only way that they would report back to HQ is just say, hey, I dropped in at this gym at this time. And here's my receipt for the drop-in fee. And then CrossFit would reimburse that drop-in fee, and a little bit of money goes to the affiliate too. And then that way we could have L1 staff seminar that are seeing what's happening on the field, like on the battlefield, inside all their affiliates. And now some of them own affiliates, right? So they're controlling what's happening there. But then this would just give them a chance to just go out and see, like, hey, like, what are we doing inside the L1? What could we talk about, or what could we explain to coaches that we're seeing just in gyms in general in our areas and around, and what's good and what could we improve upon? And then with CrossFit too, you would have a little bit of this like quality insurance, for really lack of like better words here, because again, it's not a secret shopper. I don't want them reporting back and getting in trouble. And everybody's going to have a different flavor of how they coach the class and a different way of doing things. And that is all great. And they should still have that. So we're not looking for uniformity, not outside of the way that a coach should just conduct themselves, because there should be, regardless of what gym and really regardless of what methodology, there should be this like avatar that we kind of come to expect from a coach, right? This person should be able to be really thoughtful. They should know nuances. They should be able to adapt their coaching style to the human being that's in front of them. Does this person like it a little bit more like drill sergeant-esque, or do I need to have a more delicate approach? Where are they in their fitness journey? How could I challenge them? What kind of challenges are they going through? Like, do you know all this about the people that are in front of you and that you're coaching? And so yeah, I got to spend that time with the L1 staff. I got to have this conversation with this individual that kind of like had mentioned something like this. And I was like, and I'm building off that idea. So it was just kind of like a seed that was planted. And I was like, holy crap, that is such a phenomenal idea, right? Because now we could offer those L1 more of a full time, like put them on salary, man. Don't make them have to fucking work other jobs and then dedicate their weekends to this. Like it can be done. And if we're positioning the L1 as something that is for everybody, regardless of what methodology they preferred training is, if you're an endurance person, if you're a power lifter, whatever, or if you're somebody's, mom or husband, son, daughter, wife, whatever, like, that you're going into the L1 because you're going to go ahead and get like the blueprint to become a better person by taking ownership of your health. And like, here's how to do it. Simple, elegant, just focus on the fundamentals. So yeah, I thought that would just be interesting to share with you guys. Hi, Trish. How you doing? A while back on your old Instagram before you died and deleted it and then came back to life, you had posted that picture of me like huddled in the corner doing the media dump at one of Greg's Broken Science talks in Arizona. I think it was like last year. Fuck, it's hard to tell. Like time goes by like fast and then slow. So maybe that was a year ago or so. I thought that was cool that you like picked that up and posted that there. Thank you. Some of them don't even do CrossFit. That's the next discussion that we're going to transition to now. Thank you very much, Tris, for the segue, if you will. JK Lance, they could do that on the affiliate meeting and regional gatherings instead of the DEI meetings. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Trish, you throwing Ackerman under the bus. Ha 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 ha. Jason Ackerman was one of the people that were there this weekend. Dude was a stud. Lots of respect for that guy after watching that. Ernie Garza, they should be coaching the standard whether they're at an affiliate or not, ideally. Agreed. Yeah, even if you don't, like if you are taking the L1 and then you're teaching that methodology, it should be held to the standard. Whether your gym chooses to not to pay the licensing fee, like whatever, that's a different discussion that we could get into. But I agree with you, Ernie. Like you should be holding the standard of what was taught there and the expectations and the way that it's taught. Nicholas, what's up? Are you on a set of rings right there? Dope ring hold. I'd bring those feet together, point them out front, get that hollow position a little bit better. There's your completely unsolicited coaching advice. They should have been doing checks on affiliates a long time ago. CrossFit has the problem. It has because accountability isn't there. Too many trainers aren't good and have no integrity. And we could define good and we should define integrity. Like what's good? What does that mean? How do you differentiate a good trainer versus like a bad trainer, right? And I just posed that question back because we all have different definitions of that. So that would be the first place to start, right? And I think the L1, especially the L2, outlines good and what that means, and integrity, doing the right thing for the right reasons, right? But I agree. This wasn't meant to be like a secret shopper thing, right? Like I really want to push that point home. Like nobody's snitching on you, but like how you said there, Nicholas, the problem has it is because accountability isn't there. That I agree with. Yep. Mm-hmm. Because it could be there by just having L1s drop into your gym, right? Going back to what I was saying before, it would help a lot, especially too if like you just didn't know if they were coming or not, but you knew they were coming at the same time, right? Someone's going to take that in the comments and put it in the wrong way. Trish, they should drop into an F45 and see how bad things can be if we lose the kernel. I completely agree. I completely agree with you in that, because that is what makes us is like the professionalization of the coach, the methodology, the virtuosity, like the things that are being lost for lead generation and just pumping more people into affiliates because we think that that's a value proposition. I'm speaking from HQ's point of view because I think that that's a value proposition to my affiliates, and my affiliates is going to be my number one thing for EBITDA, top line revenue, and profit, so I could package that puppy up for sale. Chris N, why is F45 bad? I know it's not CrossFit, but I don't know why. That is a great question, Chris. And I'm about to answer that for you right here when we talk about do affiliates actually do CrossFit in just a moment. We get through some more of these comments. Thank you guys for commenting. I always love when there's like a little bit of interaction. I really appreciate you guys' back and forth with me on this and anything you guys have to offer. Not joking. I should check out a F45 just for the sport of it. If not, I'm just speculating. That's a great point. That's a great point. I could definitely fall into that camp, right? Many affiliates, former affiliates, and non-affiliates are way off the CrossFit kernel. The salt shaker is gone through the window. Interesting. The salt shaker has gone through the window. What does that mean? Ears, I'm never joking. Go drop in. See how dark it could get. Trish. Okay. Boom. Coaching standard while podcasting. Thanks, Ernie. Let's see any more of these. Best intentions. Chris N, I can't tell my friends that go there that it's just bad. We need something to stand on. Yes, sir. Yep. Matt, are you taking off later, dude? Great show, Suze. All the love. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Yolanda. What up? Maybe affiliated opt into the service and it gets added to your gym info. I'd choose a box that would regularly go under review by the red shirts over another. Would that make the decision easier? Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I think that if you're just a CrossFit affiliate and you sign that licensing agreement, like you are signing up knowing that L1s is about to come to the gym. They're about to check it out, take a class, see what's up. David, I know a lot of people that own F45 gyms, but are longtime members of CrossFit gyms. Interesting, because they're probably like think that there's money to be made with the F45, but don't believe in the methodology. Kenneth Delap, what are we upset about already? I'm upset that you came in with no context and think that I'm just complaining and not offering some serious fucking value here on this show. So why don't you go ahead and take that little thing, rewind it back to the get-go, and then you could watch it on 1.5 speed, catch back up, and apologize. Jonathan Ortega, F45 doesn't have actual coaching. I know Pool Boy works at one, but there's not much coaching going on. Yeah, and I've had some conversations with Pool Boy about that when he was at the when he was coaching for me at the gym. And you're right. Okay, so let's get into this portion here, which who was it? Chris N. Here's the differentiator, brother. Let's talk about it. Not that. I clicked video file. We don't want the video file. We want to share. Here's the difference, my friend. This is the difference. What is fitness and who is fit? I'm not going to read this through, but if you guys have not read this, and by read this, I mean not like before, but within the last like 6 to 12 months, you should always re-up on it. Always re-up on the What is Fitness article, because there's so many little nuggets in here. And this was written back in 2001 or 2002, October of 2002. Boom. Right now, we're going to go, like, you guys should read this. Like, please read this if you haven't already. Please. But let me scroll down to the pyramid portion, because this is what I want to talk about here. And this is breaking down each one of them: weightlifting, throwing, nutrition, sport. Okay, here we go. A theoretical hierarchy of development. Okay, so now, Eric's going to hook me up here. Eric Brandon, salt shaker is reference to Tom Cruise Jack Reacher movie where he used the salt shaker to break through a car window. I'm more confused now. But cool. Thank you. Oh, Seth, old CrossFit Journal. Let's go. Yep. You know it. Ashen. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Fernando. I know a few affiliates who charge extra for members holding so-called toes to bar clinics, bar muscle up clinics, etc. You think it's fair when those movements need to be taught in a regular class? Fair? What's fair? What's fair? That's already kind of a misnomer in the way that you kind of phrase it there. What's fair? Fair is that I deserve $1 million because I work really hard. That's fair to me. Might not be fair to other people. So I could just tell you what we do at the gym. We put on the clinics. We haven't in a little bit. We've been slacking in that regard, but normally we'll put on like some sort of skill clinic, like double under, rope climb, toe to bar, kipping, whatever. And no, we don't charge extra for them. They're free to our members, and in most cases, they're free to anybody who wants to just come in and drop in. They're usually like an hour long. Sometimes we'll do more or less like a really intensive workshop where we'll close the gym down for a Saturday with normal class, and we'll just be working like rope climb for 2 hours. Where we'll start with some lecture. We'll go over like breaking down each step. We'll do breakout groups. We'll go with a coach and like, you know, practice whatever it is that we talked about and like different stages of it and kind of build yourself up to the rope climb. We haven't done one of those in at least a year, maybe like a year and a half now. And it's cool because every time we do one of those, you know, you get 3 or 4 people with their first rope climb. So I don't know what gyms are in position to do or not to do, but I could tell you this, like if you're the gym owner and you could do it, great, do it and do it for free. Right. But if you're the gym owner and then you're expecting your coaches to do it for free, like, are you compensating them for that class? Or like, how does that work? Right. So like, that's why I kind of was saying like, who's deciding what's fair and what's not in that situation? But yeah, so we don't charge for the clinics, as we call them, or the workshops if we're just doing an hour-long one. And typically what we'll do is after we go through, like, again, the clinic is like the longer version where it's, you know, an hour and a half or 2 hours of lecture and practical back and forth. The workshop is a little bit more condensed version where we'll show some basics. And then afterwards, we'll kind of go over with everybody based off of like where their skill level is and maybe give a little homework like, hey, during open gym or after you finish out the class, like come over here and, you know, work on these skills now that you know them and stuff like that. So I think that that's just adding value generally to your member base. And I always think that that's good. And then in terms of like monetizing it, because it's still a business and you still need cash flow. This is the other thing. This is sidetrack. We about to go on a rant. Gyms got to fucking make money, guys. Coaches have to make money. And sometimes you got to charge for that shit. Okay? Because everybody wants something for free, and then your fucking gym closes. And by the way, your coaches and affiliate owners are rubbing 2 fucking pennies together to make anything anyways. Like, let's just be real fucking honest about the conversation. And then everyone's like, oh, I pay my $150. Motherfucker, you drink that shit on the weekends. You pay your $150 for your one meal and your 2 fucking cocktails, and then you shit out your $150 later and wake up with a headache. You pay that for the whole entire month, and you fucking get fitness for life. Something that makes you a better human. We got to make money. Businesses need fucking cash flow, you guys, to work. Businesses need cash flow. Coaches need to be paid. So with that being said, I think that you could always charge like a personal training session and be like, hey, like, you know, do you want to learn the skill faster? If we work on a one-on-one basis, here's what I charge for like an hour. We could go over, we'll do this assessment, you know, blah, 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 blah. Right. And that it just, fuck you guys. How much do you pay for healthcare? How much is your fucking Netflix subscription? Nobody's fucking complaining about that. But yet you got 2, 3 coaches that are passionate as fuck trying to make you better and give you a better life. And yet I'll be damned if they charge. Oh my goodness, y'all. Sorry, National, that was misdirected. You were collateral damage at that. That wasn't anything to do with you or your question. So please don't take that personally. Please don't take that personally. But yeah, so that's where that's at. Okay, back to the regular discussion here. Do affiliates actually do CrossFit? So let's look at Brandon, don't tell me to drop my Netflix. How dare you? Well, watch the roast of Tom Brady, then cancel that shit, all right? Oh, Franco, healthcare, nothing Obamacare, bro. Yeah, no shit, right? Damn. Is it Manji? Manji? Is that right? David Manji? I love this honest truth from Sousa, puts things in perspective. Thanks. Yeah, sorry. I get riled up sometimes. A little bit of coffee and shit. I get going. So this theoretical hierarchy of development, right? This is what we're calling, like, this article and this pyramid and the 100 words of fitness and all that. Like, this is what we call CrossFit, right? This is our differentiator. Observable, measurable, repeatable, functional movements that apply to our lives outside of the gym, functional movements that develop a core to extremity that produce more power, right? This is what makes CrossFit different than the F45s and the Orange Theory. The other thing too, by the way, well, side note here, CrossFit is one of the only things that own the barbell in terms of group fitness. Generally speaking, you might have like the weightlifting or powerlifting gym in your town, maybe, but typically CrossFitters are the ones who own the barbell in a group fitness setting. Okay. So use that as your differentiator to throw in your Google top search. And if we look at this pyramid here, and then we think about the way that we do CrossFit inside of our gyms, how many of you guys as coaches or as affiliate owners like have a nutrition discussion or component or offering or materials on nutrition? If it's the base of it, of our pyramid here, like, shouldn't that be a really good, a really important starting place? I like Red Rambler's comment, pyramids are good, and lost my train of thought when I said good. But shouldn't that be a starting place as people come into your gym? Even if it's just a quick, like, hey, here's like a couple PDFs with some, like, no processed carbohydrate dinners that are high in protein. You don't even need to get, or hey, we should start cutting out added sugar. Like, you should start eating real foods. Just some sort of general like discussion around nutrition. And then the other thing too is like, if we're going to do that as a community, and like we say that this is our differentiator, pointed it this way, this is our differentiator. My monitor's on the other side though. This is our differentiator between the Orange Theories, the F45s, like every other fitness thing out there. Then why aren't we really digging in and using this pyramid and using the What is Fitness articles and like staying as true to that as we can? And for my gym, and we have a lot of room to improve. So please don't, like, I'm not trying to fucking impress you or any of that. Like, I got a lot of fucking room to improve, believe me. But we offer a 8-week nutrition kind of reset. My wife does. She's a registered dietitian. And that kind of like, not only does it start the year out with everybody getting like eating right and thinking around it, but it also bonds our community together, because the way she has the program, everybody's in teams and you have these accountability partners and you're doing these little extra side workouts and meetups and stuff. And it's done wonders for our gym. And my favorite part about it, as I was like thinking about it, is like, we're bringing a lot of people into the gym based off that nutrition portion of it. Like they're getting, if they start in that January time, and even if they're not in the challenge, like from January until like that mid-March, like the whole gym is so focused on nutrition. We have these like accountability posters in our front room. Like usually 50%-ish of the gym is doing it, meaning going through the challenge. A lot of people get brought into the gym this way because they did the challenge last year. Now they're bringing their mom or their dad in, and they're going to introduce them to CrossFit. And we kind of tailor the program a little bit more to some more foundational movements before we get too fancy in those first couple of weeks, to make sure all our new people are coming in and getting assimilated in the right way. And I was thinking about it like from a CrossFit standpoint, and I ranted a little bit about this not that long ago, but from a CrossFit standpoint, like, what is our main thing that we all do together, or that the mothership pushes, is the open. And that's cool, but that's focused on sport, which would be actually starting at the top of the pyramid, the sport of CrossFit, not just CrossFit in and of itself. Because we're together as a group, or me, is claiming that this What is Fitness article like is the CrossFit. This like is the thing. And so if this is the thing, then the open kind of seems like we're starting at the top of the pyramid and completely missing the bottom of the pyramid. And so I was just thinking about that on like the flight home, and I was like, man, like how could more of the nutrition portion of it, like how could we introduce that from the start? And we do have like a how to read nutrition labels that gets sent out. Like sometimes we'll have this like discussion about it at the whiteboard and stuff. And we definitely do with all the new people that are coming in. We're like, hey, you got to fuel your body properly. You got to really get your protein in. You got to cut out the added sugar and processed carbohydrate from your diet and stuff. But I do know that we can make that conversation more like top of mind, and we could have that more often. But I think as an affiliate owner or as a coach, it's your responsibility. Like CrossFit HQ is going to throw out the open and bring in some like nutrition thing. I think who knows if you could even manage that or what that would look like. But I think as coaches and as affiliate owners, it's our responsibility to really try to stay true to this methodology, right? And like I was talking about it in terms of the L1 staff seminar at the beginning of the show. And I was just thinking too, like, it's also our responsibility. And if we look at this pyramid, like how closely are we holding to this, right? Now, the next rung, as you guys know, is that metabolic conditioning, being able to have like some sort of like aerobic base and stuff like that. Now, remember the metabolic conditioning piece, that the tried and true right there in the programming to elicit that response is going to be your couplets, 2 movements, or your triplets, 3 movements. And those movements are going to have that will produce the most power, that will produce the most devastating like effect. Is like, think about a thruster, right? Like a couple of light thrusters and a couple of fucking burpees over the bar, just a nasty couplet right there, and boom, you got some metabolic conditioning. And as we have moved more towards like leaning into like this sport forward facing, like, you know, the tip of the spear athlete, we start to get into like the gimmicky type shit a little bit. Like next thing you know, I got people coming in like, I'm going to learn my pullovers today. Like, okay, cool. We want to learn new gymnastics, but like, dude, you haven't even done like, you know, your thrusters and burpees and under the time cap. Like, let's work that metabolic conditioning before we start worrying about like back uprises and freaking pullovers. The other thing too is as we follow up that line, it is gymnastics is the next piece. And the reason why is because it's about controlling your range of motion in your body through space. And a lot of times we forget that the essence of gymnastics, and I can't remember if this was like publicly stated or where it was, but I remember Greg saying like introducing the kip into that pull-up is the one thing that he would have changed. Because sometimes we rush to those high skills because we're so forward facing with the sport. I mean, it's cool, sexy. Like, who doesn't love to see some just ripped freaking athlete just hop up there and just crank out a bunch of like, you know, chest to bar butterfly pull-ups or something like that. But then what ends up happening is like people think, oh, to be good, I have to do, you know, that. And then they try to rush their gymnastic skills. And all of a sudden they've never even, you know, they can't control in a perfect hollow position and do one strict pull-up. And like, they're asking me to teach them a butterfly pull-up. So going back to understanding like what the basics of gymnastics actually means, which is being able to control your body through space, through full range of motion, and ideally as perfect as possible. Like I made the joke when I brought up, I forgot who it was, but I brought up somebody's comment and then they had the picture of them in like support on the rings. And I was like, tighten it up, get that hollow position, point those feet, right? Because you could always do your gymnastics just like a little bit better. And almighty, isn't Murph coming up, which is probably, man, if you were to just look at some of the movements in Murph, it just gets rough, right? Like the push-ups turn into like this head nod. You know, you got somebody doing a fucking weighted vest pull-up, but they're still in a band. You know what I mean? When you see that come in the door and it's like, there I am with a weight vest on, but I got my band to help me with my pull-up. Holy smokes. And then we have the weightlifting in throwing. And obviously there's probably not a lot of throwing going down in anybody's gym. I know we don't have like a throwing thing at my gym, but the weightlifting and throwing, basically, when you look at those two together, and you guys read this article if you haven't lately, it's all about that core to extremity and being able to like produce power from the hip, whether I'm throwing a ball, throwing a punch, doing a thruster, doing a clean, doing a snatch. Like, it's all going to come from being able to produce as much power as I can from my core, from the hips, and then using that to kind of like, you know, drive underneath the bar, do my pull-up or like whatever, right? And then at the very top, we have sport, which was never the sport of CrossFit. It was like whatever prospective sport that you were training for or, you know, doing. And that's why it says like in the 100 Words of Fitness, like learn and play new sports regularly, because CrossFit was never meant to be just the thing. CrossFit was meant to be the strength and conditioning program, the methodology that was going to make you better at whatever it is that you were doing, whether that's military, fire, police, just in order to have elite physical fitness so you could stay alive in your job and make sure that everybody around you stays alive and comes home, or whether it was just to absolutely dominate on the sports field by being completely competent in all these movements across the board, and being prepared for the unknown and unknowable that sport will inevitably throw at you. And so when we think about the pyramid in that regard, it's like, how could we How could we be better as coaches? How could we be better as affiliate owners? And exemplifying the what is fitness, because I do believe that that is our responsibility and that is our differentiator. So that's it on that piece. We'll talk about Ronda Patrick in a minute here. Let me just go through a couple of these comments here. Oh yes, it was Manji. I did pronounce it right. I have 2 members at my gym with the same last name as you, David. Interesting. Wonder if y'all are related. Is that a popular last name? I'm contemplating opening up a CrossFit gym. Would you be open to a conversation once we made our decision? Dude, I'm open up for a conversation before you make your decision. We could talk about it before. I'll give you the good, the bad, the ugly, what you should think about. Shit I didn't think about. Ours does cap, and when we have nutrition seminars, and even do Zoom calls frequently. That is awesome. That's great, Judy. And if the gym's following cap, do you guys just do the heavy days? Like, is there straight up just like 5x5 back squat? I'm curious to know that. Wait, Ken. Yep, my son just told me one of his friends is bitching about eating ramen, then proceeds to tell him that his boss won't give him 3 days off and shows him some $500 Madden pack he bought on the video game. Yeah. That about sums it up, huh, Ken? And you're probably sitting there just shaking your head like, dude, come on. What are you doing? Zoom calls about nutrition, Judy. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm curious to learn about like the heavy day and kind of what that does. Is that an add value for you? Do you like that? That's really cool. Your gym's doing that. So what's the name of your gym? Give him a shout out. Michael Ahern. Ahern? I probably screwed that up. Okay, Michael. Just so hard to get anybody to agree on what is good nutrition. Don't even go down that rabbit hole. There's one thing that everybody should unanimously agree across the board is that you need to eat real food and you need to eat protein. And you could fall into like the vegan or vegetarian or carnivore, like none of that matters, as long as the one thing we stress in the nutrition challenge is like getting in enough water, getting in enough protein, staying away from alcohol, sugar, and processed carbohydrate. And the rest of it, you could all kind of tweak, right? The rest of it, you could tweak. Asymmetry readers, how they make those pyramids anyway. I think he's referring to Rambler's pyramid about the Egyptian pyramid. Brooke, what's up? Are you new around here? I haven't seen you comment before. Thanks for commenting. My affiliate does. We offer seminars with the first form representative / coach. Cool. CrossFit should publish a meal of the week. Oh, shit. Are you saying that tongue in cheek because they used to do that? Do you remember when they had that? I think it was like 2018 maybe or 2019. They started to do like the meal of the day, and it would like show you what it was on a plate, and then would break down all the macros and would break down all the ingredients. Do you guys remember that? I used to post them daily in like the blog on my old website. So I would just like copy paste and embed that into my gym's website. And then when you would go to it, it would like pop up with like the meal of the day. Nicholas Sellers. Oh, Nicholas, you were the one in support that I was talking about. Yeah. Thomasville CrossFit has a rest day each week, and we talk about nutrition, flexibility, etc. Who is doing that? How many programmed flexibility days do Box have? It's 0. That's how many. Mine does. We do it on Thursdays. Everybody kind of refers to it as cardio Thursday, but typically we'll do some sort of recovery session there. And inside that recovery session, when everybody's kind of there, that's when we facilitate different discussions. And then usually we'll do some sort of like, machine interval or something that'll last between like 20 minutes or so, 20, 30 minutes or so. Everybody gets a good sweat in afterwards. And then I haven't in the last couple of months. I'll be bringing it back soon, but Sunday was a dedicated mobility day to the gym. So I'd be in there for about an hour or so. People could come in, ask me questions. We do some mobility together. We could talk about some nutrition. We could talk about anything that's kind of like ongoing that was happening. Like, hey, my shoulder's been kind of bugging me when I do XYZ. Like, okay, cool. Let's take a look at it. So we did that. And it kind of follows like a 3-day on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off kind of, sequence for people's working out. Funny enough, when I started CrossFit, this is Libby. Funny enough, when I started CrossFit, I realized I had to straighten out my diet if I wanted to get any better at it. I lost 35 pounds. Not sure I'm better at CrossFit, but I'm fitter. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The two come hand in hand, right? And that's why when you have nutrition and then you have metabolic conditioning, remember, like metabolic conditioning is you metabolizing the food that you ate for energy, garbage in, garbage out. I mean, you guys know this. It just takes a 5-round workout, right? You really want to put your nutrition for the test, eat like shit for the whole entire weekend, and then do like 5 rounds of 400-meter run, 30 wall balls. And when you hit that third round and your body's like looking for some good fuel and you fed it like alcohol and sweets the whole weekend or fried food, delicious, delicious fried food, um, you're going to feel like shit on that third and fourth round as you kind of finish out. And we all know that if you're eating good, you're hydrated, no alcohol, no processed carbohydrate, you get to that like third or fourth round and you're like, yeah, I can keep going. I'm going to finish strong here. Michael, and they were doing something like that on their YouTube channel, food videos all the time. Sometimes it seemed like every day. Yep. Yeah. Clock. You remember. You got it down. Dude, have you seen competitions having scaled athletes using bands for pull-ups? Laugh, laugh, laugh. Yeah. Why are you competing at that point? Right. Let's just work on the fundamentals. Get that down. Don't worry about just turning everything into a fucking competition. Brooke N, the issue here is you try to explain a lot of these to some members and they flat out refuse to hear it or listen to what the coach is telling them. Most frustrating thing that might be coming down to the culture of your gym, because if every coach is doing it and they're introduced that way, it is a lot easier to have those conversations. I'm definitely not saying like, people are gonna like it's gonna change everything and they'll want to listen. But if it is something that's happening on the regular and it is coming from the affiliate owners and it is coming from all the coaches and you guys are having discussions about it, especially if you have some sort of program or something, then like for sure it's going to be a lot easier to have those conversations with members. And in fact, like people will start having the conversations with us just because it's just kind of like baked into the culture of the gym. But if you're the only coach doing it, like at your gym, and I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just using this as a hypothetical. If you are the only one pushing it at your gym, like for sure, dude, for sure, it's hard to do that because it feels like you're swimming upstream and nobody else is doing it. So it's not being reinforced by the affiliate owners or the other coaches. David Mongi, not a popular last name that I'm aware of. They Puerto Rican? I think so. They're both two good looking dudes. Jonathan Ortega, are you going to be at Carson? Yes, sir. I'm going to be at Carson, and I'm pretty sure I will be in Knoxville as well. Like 99% sure I'll be in Knoxville. 100% sure I'll be in Carson. We're going to rock it out. We're going to be doing some on-site podcasts, just like we did at Wadapalooza. So we'll be there on competition floor before it starts, kind of filling you guys in on who to watch, everything like that. I'm pretty sure it'll be our Shut Up and Scribble gang. We'll have Taylor, JR, Hal, and hopefully we could get Will to do what he did over at Wadapalooza. I thought he was great in kind of hosting that, like throwing it back and forth between the two, facilitating some questions. So hopefully Will want to get in front of the camera again and kind of do that. I thought he was really good at it. And that kid could be a superstar, but he'll get to choose what he wants to do. We'll also be shooting behind the scenes there. So if he wants to assist with that, he'll do that. Maybe he'll do both. I don't know. We'll find out. Me, I'll be in the background collecting the checks. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'll be there running assistance and basically be servants to all my wonderful people that are going to be hustling hard, doing the podcast and the behind the scenes. Occasionally heavy days. It's a good mix, in my opinion. CrossFit 184 outside of Columbus, Ohio. Cool. Thanks, Judy. Thanks for sharing. Odd, what's up? What's up, Audrey? How are you? I hope you're doing well. We do every other Sunday mobility. That's what I should probably do too, because it's a slow class. Jonathan, we offer mobility on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Cool. How is it in that class? Do people actually show up to it? Let's see what else we got here. Then we're going to move on to our last topic of discussion. JR, what's up, dude? I always get so like, whenever I see like Chase in the comments or JR in the comments or like, well, Taylor never comments on my show. But whenever I see you guys in the comments, I always feel like so proud. Or like when Pedro's in here or something, I'm always like, yes, they're watching my stuff. Because I get it. My show, like, fuck, Shut Up and Scribble is killing it. Like, it's one of the most consistently watched shows, like, number-wise on the thing. And I get my discussions aren't necessarily for everybody. They're not as cool. But it always makes me happy whenever you guys are hanging out. So thanks, JR. Appreciate it. When do you get there? Day I forget. Wednesday or Thursday? Something like that? Yeah, I think so. Wednesday or Thursday. What did Libby say? Why do we have I used to drink every weekend. Ernie, for saving me, I used to drink every weekend and smoke a lot of cigarettes, and then I realized I keep getting beat on the wad, so I casually started to straighten my shit out. Yeah, gives you something else to focus on, right? Ernie, I can't imagine you like smoking cigarettes. That's crazy. Y'all need a behind the scenes person. Don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Your pals are watching you. I know. I get so excited. That text thread that we have, I always feel so like privileged to be a part of it. I feel like I'm just kind of like a fly on the wall in there for those guys. Like they're all like movers and shakers of the space and everything else. And I'm just kind of like hanging out. Monkey grips definitely don't have that kind of ingenuity. I don't know what's happening. Oh, Odd asked the question. JR, how do you make those dumbbell rope handles? Okay. Nothing we need to know about. Okay, last topic of discussion. Damn, it's already been an hour and 5 minutes. I'm like 11 minutes late for a call I was going to do at noon. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Last one here is going to be Ronda Patrick. You're going to check her stuff out. Oh, Miss Ronda Patrick. Found my fitness. Okay. Let's look at a few things here, right? Number one, Ronda has 868,000 followers. She's been on Joe Rogan like 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 times, a lot. She's like Rogan's like homie, right? Comes on. What do they talk about? They talk about health and fitness. That's her whole entire deal, right? Now let's just look at this. Let's just look at her Instagram real quick. What do we have? CrossFit for Health. Boom. Her speaking at the health summit. Right? That was April 10th. Well, these are pinned ones. Okay, that's a not CrossFit one. Oh, what do we have again? 7 days ago. It's her talk from the CrossFit Health Summit. What do we have here? She did doing that Norwegian 4x4 hip protocol with her Concept 2 rower. Right? She's doing a little cardio day, a little aerobic threshold testing. What's the next one? It's from the CrossFit Health Summit. Okay. We have her on another podcast here with Chris Willix. How many subscribers does Chris Willix have? I don't know. Maybe over a fucking million. Okay, cool. Susan, why do you seem like you're getting triggered? Now we have her here again talking about her discussion at the CrossFit for Health Summit. Where can I watch this whole entire video? It's most recently on our YouTube channel. Okay. Now we see, what is she doing here? She's doing some weightlifting. Clearly she's new at it, but it's not that terrible. People in the comments be like, oh, those poor joints. Suck my dick, Patricia. What the fuck do you know? Why is it her poor joints? Tardville in the comments section. Nice effort, but you're not mechanically built for that movement. Oh, really, Rob? Yeah, let's see what you're mechanically built for. Being a douche. Not mechanically built for that movement. What? Silly. What do we have here? CrossFit for Health Summit again. 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 What do we have here? She's doing her 4x4 again. Also looks a lot like CrossFit. What do we have here? Oh, she's doing more CrossFit. A little hang clean action, right? She's practicing a hang clean, maybe some front squats she's going to do here. Look at that. And who is this guy? Oh, look. A. O'Neill, another shirtless dude on fucking TRT here to save the day. I love that you are lifting and posting about it, but please get a trainer or a coach to help with form. Okay, who we got? This is their coach. Zia, owner of CrossFit Counterculture, CrossFit Global Affiliate Mentor Team, CrossFit Affiliate Council member. This is her coach. This is who's coaching her. Okay, this lovely lady here. I don't know much about her. I just got a picture with Craig. Love Craig. What's up, Craig? Right? So she somehow got hooked up with Ronda Patrick. Keep fitness legal. Let's go. right? So she got hooked up with Ronda Patrick. She's coaching Ronda Patrick, right? She's coaching Ronda Patrick. They're doing CrossFit together. But yet, why isn't this collabed with CrossFit? Why isn't she collabed with CrossFit? Is it Ronda Patrick's fault or is it CrossFit's fault? Is it Ronda Patrick's fault or is it CrossFit's fault? Right? Here she is again, doing some rowing and some burpees. She's doing fortitude, a CrossFit workout, most likely with her CrossFit coach. Now, you guys could go through and kind of check the rest of that out together. Here's the deal. She is a influencer, for lack of better words, in the space. And she has 800,000+ followers. She goes on podcasts to talk about health and fitness. Some of the largest fucking platforms, Joe Rogan, Chris Willis. Okay. Weird. And where is CrossFit? She never tags or says CrossFit. Ernie, is that her fault? Do you know it's her fault? Or is it fucking CrossFit's fault? They gave her a coach. Where's the camera? Why aren't we following her journey? Why aren't we placing Ronda Patrick and saying, hey, look, she is new to CrossFit. She's big in the health and fitness space. She has a large following, goes on these big platforms. Let's get with her. Let's send a fucking camera crew out there. Let's talk to her coach. Let's build stuff. Let's start to put out Instagram reels and shit all the time from it. Let's make sure that every post she has on here, we're asking if she could collaborate. Let's start putting out shorts on her development so I could see those first couple of cleans. And then we check in with her a week or two later. And I go, oh shit, she's gotten better. And then we interview her CrossFit coach. Right? How the fuck is this happening? And it's not synonymous with CrossFit training and the methodology. She goes on Joe Rogan next fucking week. I'm making this up. I don't know if she's actually going to go on Joe Rogan. She goes on Joe Rogan next week. And Joe goes, what have you been up to, Rhonda? Oh, fuck, Joe, I've been up to CrossFit. Huh, CrossFit? We had Frazier on here. The guy who claimed he made $1 million+ for Greg. Cue the fucking gargle sound. We didn't think it was that great. What do you know about it, Rhonda? And then she starts to break it down. And then you go and you look at all of her stuff and you start to see her doing all of the movements, learning it with the coach. Show her coach coaching. So that way, when we have fucking whatever the hell, this guy who thinks, oh, nice effort, but they're not mechanically built for you. You could go to the long-term video of the coach going over all the movements with her, showing the warm-up, showing her with the barbell, showing how they led up to that. Completely changing all of the people who follow her's perception about CrossFit. So ask yourself, is it Rhonda's problem? Because it seems like at some point she came out to the Health Summit and talked. It seems like at some point she requested to get a CrossFit coach. It seems like at one point that coach showed up and is now coaching her. So who's not pressing the fucking button? Who's not sending the person out here to film this, to watch it, and then to have her share this on the largest platforms? Why? Why? Now, you mean to tell me between all the people that she follow her and the platform she's going to go on, that wouldn't have made a massive impact in not only changing public perception, but getting more people excited about CrossFit? Give her a free L1. Take her through the L1 CrossFit. Video all of that. What are you doing? She's clearly interested in learning more. She's clearly doing it and she's posting it on her own. And yet, fucking, where's the button? No, it's not frozen. I'm just sitting here to let that sink in. Think about that. And think about if they did this with anybody who had large followings that were interested in it. The fuck are you doing? This is a perfect example of how we could build media around her to do what? Highlight her education, bring her into the L1, show that. Guys, it doesn't take a fucking genius to figure it out. This is partnership 101. She's already interested. She's already doing the thing. Give her the support. Home Atlanta. She's been on twice already. I don't know what she's been on. Send me, Susan, send me. Okay. If I was CEO, I'd send you, Jonathan. Don't worry. Man, I just see that, and you start to ask yourself, like, why is it no, Daniel? No, I don't want to roast her. I don't want to roast her. I want to be her friend. I want everybody who follows her to understand what we do as CrossFit. I want everybody to understand that she is embodying the What is Fitness article, and she could start to talk about that to her audience. And she could talk about that when she's asked, what are you up to? Well, check this out. There's some research here. Let me go over it. It's called CrossFit. Yeah, I don't know. We already talked about that. 100%, right? It's like, what are we doing in this? And this was just obvious. This just came like, look at her profile, guys. And none of these are collaborated with CrossFit. They haven't offered her to do with anything. Why aren't they taking advantage of this? And the crazy part is I listened to her talk at the Health Summit. And it's like almost the L1, it's almost What is Fitness. And if she just got exposed to it in the right way, this could be massive. And then she has friends, Andrew Huberman, all these other guys that are, you know, synonymous with like health and fitness, kind of like science and gurus. And all of a sudden they start talking about CrossFit and they start trying CrossFit. And now everybody's talking about it in a different way, in a way that's synonymous with health, but still going to be pushing people into our affiliates, but more importantly, pushing people into our L1s. Perfect opportunity to showcase how badass our coaching is. Perfect opportunity to shed more light on what is fitness and the L1 and build some great media around her. So the question you need to ask yourself is, why aren't they? Thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate all of you. It's about 100+ people hanging out today, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. Especially you guys coming in here in the comments and contributing and come back and forth, even if we don't see it the same way. Like, I just really appreciate all the contribution you guys are making. Rambler, she predates Andrew Huberman. She's an OG. Yeah, exactly. It's just not. It just baffles me as to why we're not taking advantage of all this low-hanging fruit, right? Carlos, what's up, brother? Looking forward to seeing you shortly here. Oh, fuck yeah. See, Andrew's here now too. Yes. What's up, dude? Because they are selling. Oh, yeah. Because they are selling. Oh, shit. Pedro's on? Okay, you guys need to go over to watch Pedro's show. Please go check him out right now. And then right when you guys are done with that, go check out Andrew's Hiller, his 90-minute feature on CrossFit Mayhem and everything they got over there. That video was awesome. Congrats again on stretching your what you do, Andrew. I know I talked about it in person. I was like, dude, watching your just continuous evolvement of how you're creating, what you're doing, testing things all the time. Really fucking cool, dude. Super stoked that we're along for the ride with you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will see you on the internet. Love ya. Bye-bye.